So this chapter number 12, is entitled Devotional Service. We're going to look at the link with the previous chapter. So in 11th chapter, what happened? Krishna concluded in 11.55 with the supremacy of Bhakti Yoga or devotional service unto his personal form as Shyam Sundar. So let's look at the verse. Krishna had said, Mat karma krin mat karma paramo mad bhakta sanga varjita nirvaira sarvabhuteshu ya sa mam eti pandava. My dear Arjuna, he who engages in my pure devotional service, free from all contaminations of fruitive activities and mental speculation, he who works for me, who makes me the supreme goal of his life and who is friendly to every living being, he certainly comes to me. So this is how the last verse ended, and Arjun is going to ask a question based on this a little bit. Attachment to Krishna's personal form is highest spiritual realization. It has been emphasized in earlier chapters also, in the verses 647, 7.1, 8.5. And Arjuna personally experienced this in the previous chapter also. Nevertheless, there are people who prefer to meditate on the impersonal Brahman. So remember what happened in the 11th chapter. Arjun had requested Krishna to show his Virat Roop, and then Krishna also showed his Kala Roop. After which, when Arjuna was so fearful, he requested him to show Arjuna the Vishnu form and then his personal form, back to his personal form. And he realized how sweet and how much connected he is with that personal form. So keeping that in mind, and also how Krishna said in the last verse, mud, so many times, me. So his personally, people who connect with him, there is a difference with people who want to try to connect with the absolute truth in his impersonal form. So that is what his question is going to be. So in this chapter, Arjun inquires about these two classes of people. He thus clarifies his own position of being attached to the personal form of Krishna. In response, Krishna establishes that pure bhakti yoga is the highest process for realization of the absolute truth and the easiest means for attaining his association. Krishna also describes how bhakti can be practiced at multiple levels and the qualities of a bhakta that make one dear to Krishna. So, with that, we will begin this chapter and we'll see how the verses are. There's the subdivision of verses. 12.1, Arjun's inquiry, who's better, personalist or impersonalist? Then 2 to 7, Krishna talks about personalist versus impersonalist and how Krishna Bhakti is supreme. Then 8 to 12, progressive stages of Bhakti. And then the last section where Krishna talks about qualities that endear one to Lord Krishna, to him. So let's begin. Okay, here also we'll see 9.5, what happened long back. 9.5, Krishna spoke about these three classes of people who are into Jnana Yoga, Jnana Yajna, actually. So he had said others who engage in sacrifice by cultivation of knowledge worship the Supreme Lord as one without a second, as diverse in many, and in the universal form. So Ekatvena, Prithaktvena, Bahuda, and then Vishvato Mukham. Vishvato Mukham, he described so much in detail in the last chapter where he showed that form also. And this right now, what Arjun's question is about Ekatvena, where people are inclined to worship the absolute truth in oneness, in that impersonal manifestation. In the 9th chapter, Krishna had spoken about the worship of Devtas, which was Prithaktvena Bahuta, in many various forms of Devatas. So let's begin 12.1. Let me also, just give me 1 second. Actually, we'll recite the verse and then I'll also join from my phone and I'll take the attendance. I'm back with Gita also. This is a short chapter. I think we'll finish in 2 classes. We're planning to finish the first 3 sections today and then the last section in the next class. And after that, we'll talk about that later. Okay, so let's recite this verse. Arjuna uvacha evam satata yukta ye bhaktastvam paryupasate ye chapi aksharam avyaktam tesham ke yoga vittamaha. Somebody can read the translation.
Arjuna inquired, which are considered to be the more perfect? Those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Give me 1 second while I take the attendance. Our mentors have told us this, that when we begin Bhakti Shastri, there'll be many who join, but as we progress, there'll be some who will fade away a little bit just because everybody does not have the time to put in, learning all the answers and memorizing all the verses. It is a little tough. So that's how we see in our classes also. Some have pulled out. Some are still coming for the classes. They want to hear, but they cannot commit to, the exams and or maybe the homework also. So like that. But it's okay. We are here. We'll always be here. Whoever wants to join and whoever wants to continue, we are here. Okay, so let's look at the verse 12.1. Jnana yagnena chapyanye, where Arjuna is inquiring. So Jnana Yagna, people who are into, hold on. Sorry, I moved to 9.15. Hold on. Yeah, that's what I wanted to discuss first. So Jnana Yagnena Chapyanne. There are others who are into that yagna or sacrifice where they are totally into learning about the manifest and the unmanifest. So into jnana, into, you can also say Sankhya. So, and then within these, there are 3 categories: Ekatvena, Pritatvena, and Bahuda Vishvuto Mukham. And here Arjuna is asking about the Ekatvena. So, Arjuna Vacha, Evam Satata Yuktaye. So, in oneness, Evam Satata Yuktaye, those who are constantly engaged, Bhaktas Twam Paripasate. With bhakti, they worship you. Bhaktas Twam, Twam is you, Bhaktas is with bhakti. Paripasate, they worship you. Ye chapi aksharam avyaktam. And in contrast to these, there are some who Aksharam and avyaktam, they that which is beyond the senses and that which is unmanifest. So Aksharam and avyaktam. Tesham ke yoga vittamaha, among those who are the most perfect in yoga. Yoga vittama is in yoga who are most perfect. So within these two, people who are your bhaktas, tvam paripasate, with bhakti, who worship you, or the ones who are attached to the aksharam and avyaktam, attached to that which is unmanifest and that which is beyond the senses, aksharam. So, who is perfect? Knower of yoga or process of quickly attaining you, yoga vittama, amongst the following two. The personalist devotee who always worships you, bhaktas tvam paripasate, as in 1155 also, where Krishna concluded by saying how his mom, he said so many times, me, or an impersonalist meditator who worships the transcendental aksharam, unmanifest, or avyaktam, impersonal Brahman. So this and that came in 9.15. This important question will clarify the distinction between impersonal and personal conceptions of the absolute truth. And that's the reason Arjuna is also inquiring. So here are different paths, one of which is Jnana Yoga and one is Bhakti Yoga. Let's look at the difference. In Jnana Yoga, that yogi who follows the path of inconceivable, unmanifested, impersonal feature of the Supreme Lord, whereas in Bhakti Yoga, people who are in full Krishna consciousness engaged in devotional service to that personal Lord. Like the Supreme Lord, the living entity is also originally Satchidananda. Sat means eternal, Chit means full of knowledge, and Ananda means full of pleasure. By this process of Jnana Yoga, the embodied soul may realize the eternal and knowledgeable aspects of his original nature. But only by the process of Bhakti Yoga, the blissful portion, which is the Ananda portion, can also be realized, which is easier and natural for the soul. So one of the differences, we can make note of this, or you can go back because homework will come based on this also. Any questions on this or till now?
Mataji, I just have one question. So if for Bhakti Yoga it mentioned it's blissful, does that mean that it includes eternity, knowledge, and bliss? Everything?
Yes. All three included when a person is in the process of Bhakti Yoga. But in Jnana Yoga, only the eternal and knowledgeable aspects of his original nature can be realized if he's perfect in his Jnana Yoga process. But in Bhakti Yoga, along with those two, Ananda portion also, the blissful part also can be realized.
Thank you, Mataji.
So in the purport, let's see what Prabhupada says. Transcendentalists, there can be personalist or impersonalist. Personalist engages himself with all energy in devotional service of the Supreme Lord, and impersonalist also engages himself not directly, but in meditation on the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested. So Bhakti Yoga is highest amongst all, most direct, easiest means for association with Godhead. Conclusion of every chapter signifies Krishna being a person. So till now, second chapter, 7th, 8th, and 6th, we see how in the second chapter, let's see, living entity, spiritual spark, where Krishna speaks about how we are coming from him, right? We are souls, we're not this body, and we are coming from him. We're spiritual spark, or part of the spiritual whole. 7th chapter, living entity, part and parcel of Supreme Whole. Part is meant to serve the whole. In the 6th chapter, of all the yogis, the last verse, one thinking of Krishna within himself is the most perfect. And 8th chapter, thinking of Krishna at the end of life, when we can transfer ourselves to Krishna as a whole. So like that, there is the personal feature of Krishna specifically mentioned by Krishna so many times, Mam, Mat, with these, specific words. Prabhupada says the impersonalist position, not attached to personal form of Krishna, so firmly detached that even in commentaries on Bhagavad Gita, they want to distract people from Krishna and transfer all devotion to Brahmajyoti. Prefer to meditate on impersonal form, which is beyond the reach of senses and is unmanifest. Arjuna's intention behind the question. He is attached to the personal form of Krishna. He wishes to make his position secure. Meditation on impersonal form is problematic both in material as well as spiritual world. One cannot perfectly conceive impersonal form. Arjuna is asking as if, what is the use of such a waste of time? He experienced in the 11th chapter being attached to personal form is the best. Why? He could understand all other forms at the same time. There was no disturbance in his love for Krishna when he is connected with Krishna and sees Krishna in his personal form, and there is an exchange of and there's a reciprocation of love between both of them, that for him is the highest. And he's seen the other forms. Krishna himself has shown the Virat Roop also. So, but he concludes that in connection with Krishna in his personal form, there is no disturbance. Let's keep going. 12.2. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Veshamano Ye Mam Nitya Yukta Upasate Shraddhaya Parayo Petas Te Me Yukta Tamamataha. So somebody read the translation, please.
Personality of Godhead said, those who fix their minds on the personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith are considered to be the most perfect. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, Sri Bhagavan Vacha, Krishna starts to answer. Maya Vesha Mano Ye Mam. Krishna says, fixing the mind on me. Again, see, you see so many times Mam, Mai, right? Then again, Te Me. Yukta tamamata. So Maya Vesha Mano Ye Mam, fixing those who can fix their minds on me, Nitya Yukta Upasate. They worship me constantly. Shraddhaya Parayopetas, with transcendental faith. Te me Yukta Tamamata. So Arjun used the word with tama. Here Krishna is also using the word tama, which is higher. I consider them higher or highest. So let's look at the commentary. Prabhupada says, Krishna clearly says that he who concentrates upon his personal form and who worships him with faith and devotion is to be considered most perfect in yoga. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, my devotees are the best. And Baldev Vidyabhushan says, my devotees are the most qualified. How? Because they have the quickest method for attaining me. What is the quickest method? This. Nitya Yukta Upasate and Mai Avesha Manoyemam and Shraddhaya Parayo Petas. Prabhupada says, Samadhi of a devotee, it's his constant engagement. That is his Samadhi. Everything done for Krishna. So no material activities. A pure devotee is constantly engaged. Sometimes he chants, sometimes he hears or reads books about Krishna, or sometimes he cooks bhoga or goes to the marketplace to purchase something for Krishna, or sometimes he washes the temple or the dishes. Whatever he does not let a single moment pass without devoting his activities to Krishna. Such action is in full samadhi. So whereas in Jnana Yoga also people, they study the scriptures, but they also meditate on that impersonal aspect. In Dhyana Yoga, they meditate on the Paramatma. But Prabhupada is comparing and saying, for a devotee, he's always in full samadhi, right? Where he's the whole day, moment by moment, whatever he's doing, thinking, reading, everything is in connection with Krishna. So Shraddhaya Parayo Petas, with transcendental faith, one fixes the mind on Krishna and worships him. So Shraddha and Parayopetas is, Shraddha is faith and Parayopetas is transcendental. So that after one comes to transcendence, one continues to fix the mind on Krishna. Whereas the impersonalists think, yes, it's fine, you can worship the personal form, but it is a means to go ahead and transcend the personal form to that impersonal Brahman. I don't know where that conception comes for them, because that is totally not what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. So not that one transcends Krishna at a particular point and go to that impersonal light. Krishna continuously, verse after verse, he talks about how worship to him is the highest, and one who can do that can finally come to his abode. Let's keep going. 12.3 and 4 are coming together. So we'll recite them. Ye tvaksharam anirdeshyam avyaktam paryupasate sarvatragam achintyam cha Utastham achalam dhruvam sanniyamendriya gramam sarvatra samabuddhaya te prapnuvanti mameva sarvabhuta hite rataah. So we can unmute and read.
But those who fully worship the unmanifested, that which lies beyond the perception of the senses, the all-pervading inconceivable, unchanging, fixed and immovable, the impersonal conception of the absolute truth, by controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone, such persons engage in the welfare of all, at last achieve me. Hare Krishna.
So let's look at the verse. Ye tvaksharam anirdesham. So Krishna used the words aksharam and avyaktam, which were used by Arjuna in his question. And Krishna further adds anirdesham. So the description of which cannot be pointed out, anirdesham. Nirdesh is to point out or to direct or instruct, but that which cannot be pointed out is anirdesham. So Krishna is saying, yetva, that which is aksharam, which is unmanifest, and which is anirdesham, cannot be pointed out. And then avyaktam also Krishna used, which was coming in the question from Arjuna, aksharam and avyaktam. So those two words Krishna has used and added anirdesham, paryupasate. So those who worship the unmanifest, that which cannot be pointed out, and that impersonal Brahman, sarvatra gam achintyam cha, that which is pervading, all-pervading and inconceivable, achintyam, inconceivable. Kutastham achalam dhruvam. It is fixed and unchanging, non-movable and factual. Sanni yamendriyam gramam. One who with strict regulations to control the senses, sarvatra samabuddhaya. One who tries to have equal vision towards everyone, samabuddhaya, te prapnuvanti mameva. They will also obtain me, certainly, eva is certainly, sarvabhuta hite rata, for the welfare of all living entities, one who's thus engaged. So a person who is impersonalist will also finally achieve me only, Krishna is saying here. So here in this verse, characteristics of impersonal conception of the absolute, unmanifested, beyond sense perception, all-pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed, immovable, and how is he worshipped? By controlling the various senses, by being equally disposed to everyone, by engaging in welfare for all. It is difficult for any common man, Prabhupada says, much penance involved before the ultimate realization of full surrender takes place. So the word aksharam, that which beyonds the perception of the senses, anirdesham, impossible to define by words related to devas or men who have bodily designations. Indefinite also can be a meaning. Avyaktam is unmanifested, sarvatra gadgam, all-pervading, achintyam, not subject to logic analysis, to be known only through shrutis. Kutastham, unchanging, achalam, immovable, dhruvam is fixed. So these are characteristics of that impersonal Brahman. Prabhupada says this is indirect process. Impersonalists also attain the same goal, but after many births. Bahunam janmanam ante. Krishna has spoken this verse before. What all one needs to do, control the senses, again, he's render service to everyone, engage in welfare of all beings. No perfect realization unless one approaches Krishna. So in that process also, unless there is a connection with Krishna, they cannot achieve perfection in their own path. So it is said, Prabhupada says that in Jnana Yoga or Dhyana Yoga or Karma Yoga, unless there is connection with Krishna, they cannot achieve success in those paths. Much penance involved before one fully surrenders unto him, very difficult for the common man. 12.5 Kleshodikataraste avyakta sattachetasam avyakta hi gatir dukkham deva dehavadbhir avapyate. Somebody can read the translation, please.
So those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested, impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So 2 words Krishna has used here. Klesha tikataras tesham. Taras tesham. So klesha, and then he also says avyakta hi gatir dukkham. So dukkha and klesha, 2 words Krishna has used, which shows how there is troublesome, it is troublesome, and there is misery also, dukkham. Klesho dikataras tesham, mostly or largely these people will get trouble. Avyakta sattachetasam. Their consciousness is attached to the impersonal manifestation. That means they are attached to the impersonal aspect of the absolute truth. Avyakta hi gatir dukkham. Those who make Avyakta as their goal of life, for them, the progress is very difficult. It's full of misery. Dukkham. Deha vadvit avapyate. Those who are embodied. So those who are embodied, for them, there is dukkha and there is klesha in this path. So the progress is very difficult for impersonalists. So here you can see a comparison of impersonalists and personalists. For impersonalists, meditate on formless is difficult for embodied. And for personalists, they meditate on the form of the deity. It is easy for embodied. Unmanifested is beyond the senses, restricts the senses. Senses can perceive the deity, and sound of the mantra engages the senses. Must understand the Brahman through Upanishads, etc. Learn the language Sanskrit, understand the non-perpetual feelings, understands Krishna through devotional service. Simple chanting, Hare Krishna mantra, guidance of bona fide spiritual masters, simply by offering regulative obeisances unto the deity, hearing the glories of the Lord, eating the remnants of the foodstuff offered to the Lord. For the impersonalists, it's a long practice, makes it difficult to take up bhakti. This, for personalists, it's completely natural. For impersonalists, it's troublesome, no relationship with the Lord. Miseries are mitigated by relationship with Krishna, on the other hand. Depends on our own endeavor. Krishna delivers devotees from Maya. Why? Because Krishna himself recommends the process out of eternal love and by his costless mercy. In terms of realization, Brahman versus Bhagavan, Brahman is nirguna without qualities, whereas Bhagavan is sarguna with form, qualities, etc. I'm going to read the Brahman aspect first and then come to Bhagavan. So here we'll see Nirguna, inconceivable, all-pervading, unchanging, fixed and immovable, cannot perceive any opulence because of lack of activity. Risk of not realizing absolute truth at the end. May realize the eternal Sat and which is knowledge. Eternal, which is Sat, and knowledge, which is Chit, aspects of his original nature. Partial realization. Whereas in terms of realization of Bhagavan, Saguna with form and qualities, possess inconceivable potencies, all pervading by energy and as supersoul, unchanging, fixed and immovable, possessor of 6 opulences in full. Success is guaranteed as nothing is lost, realizes eternity, knowledge and bliss, includes Brahman and Paramatma realization. Okay, so more differentiation here. You see Jnana Yogis and Bhakti Yogis. I'm going to leave this. You can read these notes later when you see the recording. Prabhupada says deity worship is authorized process. It is not idol worship. So we should never call the Vigra as idol. So many people back in India, even maybe us, before we had this understanding that we should call the form of the Lord as deity and not as idols. So Prabhupada here brings that point. It is not idol worship. Worship of the Lord may be Saguna or Nirguna. So again, two processes can be there. Deity worship is Saguna. Though represented by material qualities like stone, wood, or oil paint, Lord is not actually material. Authorized representation. So he's giving example over here. If you read the purport, this is all from the purport. Mailboxes, if we post letters, they will naturally go to their destinations, but any old box or imitation not authorized by post office will not do the work. So he's comparing the deity form, that it is totally authorized and it is coming from the scriptures. The omnipotent, all-powerful Lord comes as Archa Vigraha. He accepts the service of the devotee to make it convenient for the conditioned being. Krishna Chakravarti Thakur says, why impersonal realization is difficult? Suffering present. There is suffering present in that process. That goal is attained by the jivas endowed with bodies only by undergoing suffering, dukkham. Stopping senses is not easy. The senses have the power for particular knowledge, such as sound, not for something which does not possess particular qualities. Therefore, stopping the senses is necessary for those who desire knowledge of the impersonal without particular qualities. But stopping the senses is like stopping rivers. For a devotee, it is easy, because he's not stopping the rivers. It's a natural process, attained only by a mixture of bhakti. So furthermore, even the goal of impersonal Brahman, which is attained by suffering, is attained only by having a mixture with bhakti. So without bhakti, like we discussed before, no other process can achieve perfection without bhakti. Without bhakti to the Lord, the worshippers of impersonal Brahman obtain only suffering and not Brahman. Brahma says, Tesham aso klesha eva shishyate nanyad yatha sthula tushava ghatinam. As a person who beats an empty husk of wheat cannot get grain, one who simply speculates cannot achieve self-realization. His only gain is trouble. It's from the Bhagavatam. Let's keep going. 12.6 and 7. ये तु सर्वाणि कर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्पराः अनन्येनैव योगेन मां ध्यायन्त उपासते तेषामहं समुद्धर्ता मृत्युसंसारसागरात् भवामि न चिरात् पार्थ मय्यावेशितचेतसाम्. Somebody can read the translation, please.
But those who worship me, giving up all their activities unto me, and being devoted to me without deviation, engage in devotional service, and always meditating upon me, having fixed their minds upon me, O son of Pritha, for them I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So again, going back, first verse, Arjun asked the question, who is most perfect in yoga? Is it the personalist or the impersonalists? And Krishna says in the second verse that those who fix their mind on my personal form, they're always engaged in worshipping me with great faith, great transcendental faith. They are considered by me to be the most perfect. And then he starts to compare both of them. Third and fourth, he says, those who are impersonalists and worshipping me with all those features we spoke about, we discussed, they also in the end achieve me only. Fifth verse, but he says, but that process is very difficult. It's full of klesha and it is full of dukkha for the ones who are embodied. And then now, sixth and seventh verse, let's see what he's saying. Now he's talking about the bhaktas. Ye tu sarvani karmani, but those who ye tu sarvani karmani, those who all of their activities, Mai Sanyasya Matpara, offering all of them to me, making me Matpara, making me the ultimate goal. Ananyeneva Yogena, without any distraction, steadily fixed on me with the practice of yoga, Mam Dhyayanta Upasate. They meditate on me, they worship me. See again, so many times, Mai, Mat, Mam, right? Mam Dhyayanta Upasate, they meditate on me, they worship me. Tesham Aham Samudharta. For those people, I become their deliverer. Mrityu samsara sagarat, in this ocean of material existence of birth and death, bhavami na chirat partha, not after a long time. See, previous verse, Krishna spoke about they also achieve me, but after a long time. Here, Krishna saying, na chirat, not after a long time. So, very quickly, not after a long time, what happens? Mai aveshita chetasam, those who fix their minds on me, Bhavami na chirat, I become their swift deliverer and quickly, not after a long time. So let's look at all of these one at a time. Ye tu sarvani karmani, according to one's prescribed duties, whatever may be the kind of work one needs to do, just do it faithfully they do it faithfully for my pleasure. Here we see a picture of, okay, who can tell us which is this?
Bhakta Kumbhara?
Huh?
No.
Bhakta Kumbhara.
Yeah, no, that kya Bai, what was her name?
The Sakubai story.
Sarkubai.
Kumbhara.
Sarkubai. So
Vishal.
whatever she was, the whole day she was made to do household chores by her mother-in-law, but while doing everything, she was always faithfully thinking of Krishna, concentrating her mind on Krishna, and offering that in Krishna's service. So that is ye tu sarvani karmani, mai sanyasya mat par, offering all of them to me, making me the ultimate goal. Ananyeneva yogena, without any distractions, steadily fixed on me with the practice of yoga. Mam dhyayanta upasate, they meditate on me, they worship me. Tesham aham samudharta, I become the swift deliverer. Krishna being personal, caring and compassionate, he personally intervenes and lifts us up. Just like if a person has fallen in a well and we cry out for help, that crying out is our process of crying out when we chant Krishna's names, and Krishna is right there, right? He's right there and helping. He's the one who lifts us up. And imagine we are in a well and there's nobody around. It is up to us that we can, first of all, that rope has to be there. And then if it is there, it is up to us if we can climb up that rope. So being impersonal is not reciprocal, where the personality of the Lord is not manifested. Quality-less and attribute-less, and in one sense, emotionless, where there cannot be any reciprocation, only neutrality. So beautiful examples are Acharyagan have given in connection with this. Tesham aham samudharta, also from the ocean of material life cycle, birth and death, Krishna is the swift deliverer. He picks us up. So that also Prabhupada talks about in the purport. We're going to read the purport in a little bit. Let's keep going. Also, this example that I heard in a lecture, problems are going to be there in a devotee's life also. But it is like, if you're in Vrindavan and sitting in an auto rickshaw like this, sometimes you would have experienced, I have, one time my head bumped into that bar. The iron rod up there was so painful. So this can happen because there are bumps. And in an auto rickshaw, if you're sitting, the bumps are really, really manifested very clearly. But if you're sitting in a Mercedes, the bumps may be there, but we don't experience them so much. So it is the same life. We're living the same life. Krishna has said it's temporary and it is dukkhale, right? We face the same problems, but because of connection with Krishna, the pain or the suffering that a devotee goes through is much, much less. because of that connection with Krishna. I become their swift deliverer, Mrityu samsara sagarat, from the ocean of birth and death. Bhavamina chirat partha, I have become their swift deliverer, not after a long time, very quickly. Mai aveshita chetasam, of those whose minds are fixed on me. So, working exclusively for Krishna, understanding our fortune, devotees are very fortunate to be delivered very soon from material existence of the Lord. So, what we do here in the notes is make the purport also, bring the purport in the notes form. So, for our understanding, or quickly going through the purports also. Understanding our duty, God is great, and that individual soul is subordinate to Him. Duty, what is our duty? Is to render service to the Lord. If not done, one will render service to Maya. So if we don't serve Krishna, we will be serving Maya. If at a moment of time through the day we're not thinking of Krishna, we will be thinking of Maya or in Maya. How to render devotional service? One should fix his mind fully on Krishna in order to achieve him. Baldev Vidyabhushan says, even while hearing and chanting, they absorb their minds in me. Dhyantaya. One should work only for Krishna. Work doesn't matter, but it should be done only for Krishna. So whatever work one does, with no desire of achievement other than pleasing Krishna. Life's mission is to please Krishna, can sacrifice anything for pleasing Krishna. Example, like Arjuna in the battle of Kurukshetra. One can devote himself in his occupation plus engage in chanting. The Hare Krishna mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Such transcendental chanting attracts the devotee to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Simply by chanting the holy names of Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We did it twice because Prabhupada also has done it twice in the purport. The chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Devotee of the Lord can approach the supreme destination easily and happily, but this destination cannot be approached by any other process of religion. The method is also quick, personally orchestrated by the Lord. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, still, what is the method by which they cross samsara? There is no question about the method by which they cross samsara, because without even having a method, I take them over it. I quickly become their deliverer over the ocean of samsara. Implied here that the Lord has affection for his devotee, but not for the Gyanis. Prabhupada says, the Lord promises he will deliver without delay. So, na chirat partha, right? Those advanced in yoga practice can willfully transfer the soul to whatever planet they like by the yoga process. But for the devotee, the Lord himself takes him. No need for the devotee to wait to become experienced. So, O Partha, here also I was thinking how Krishna is saying, na chirat partha, so not after a long time, O Arjuna, right? So that also when we call out somebody's name, and Partha, son of Pritha, is also very endearing. Here, Krishna is showing his affection that, oh, Arjuna, you are my devotee. For you, I will be that swift deliverer. You don't have to worry. Because Arjuna has raised this question, who is most perfect in yoga process? Is it the impersonalist or the personalist? So here, Krishna is bringing that personal touch for Arjuna. You don't worry, Arjuna. I'll be the swift deliverer, and very quickly, without delay. A devotee does not need to practice Ashtanga Yoga in order to transfer his soul to the spiritual planets. Lord himself takes the responsibility by getting him back quickly, putting him on the shoulders of Garuda without having to go via the path of light. So these two examples Prabhupada has given, which will also come in the homework question. So you can look at this. Two examples Prabhupada has given, or analogies, where he says a child is completely cared for by his parents, and thus his position is secure. Similarly, a devotee does not need to endeavor to transfer himself by yoga practice to other planets. Again, another example Prabhupada gives, like an expert swimmer who cannot save himself in an ocean but can be rescued easily if someone picks him up. Similarly, the Lord picks up the devotee from this material existence. What one has to simply do, practice this easy process of Krishna consciousness, fully engage oneself, always prefer devotional service to other paths. So same thing, this is the purport where Prabhupada talks about that child example. Thus, Krishna explained the difference between worshipping his personal and his impersonal features. While there is no reciprocation from the impersonal feature, there is full protection and swift deliverance from the personality, Krishna. So we'll come to the next section. Where Krishna talks about the progressive stages of bhakti. So let's see, we want to finish this section also. Having established the supremacy of bhakti, Krishna will now explain in the next 5 verses multiple levels of bhakti beginning with the highest stage. And this is a descending order. So Krishna first talks about the highest stage, and then if you cannot do that, next best thing, this is what you can do. If you cannot even do that, next best thing, what you can do. So he's going down that ladder of yoga, bhakti yoga. Let's recite the verse. 12.8. Mayi vamana adhastva mayi buddhim niveshaya nivasi shayasi mayeva ata urdhvam na samshayah.
Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always, without a doubt. Bhagavad Gita 12.8. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So now, after establishing the supremacy of the personal aspect or bhakti yoga, Krishna is kind of emphasizing how you can be a devotee. So we say, Mai eva mana adatsva. Me alone. Fix your mind on who? On me alone. Again, Mai, right? 3 times Krishna has used Mai in this verse. To 12.8, A, B, C, all 3 of them. So, me alone, fix your mind on me. Mai buddhim niveshaya. Let your intelligence be fixed on me. Buddhim. Nivasishyasi mayeva. That in this way you will reside in me. Ata urdhvam na samshaya. Of this there is no doubt. So generally, we live where our subtle body lives and not the gross body. The mind is always with the object of meditation. When I was getting second initiation, after that, Guru Maharaj was sitting with some of us, 20 of us, I think, who got the second initiation at that time. And he was, he gave a short class and he was talking about how it is now that you have the second initiation, how you have to be more serious, you have to be more open, you have to be more compassionate to other beings, you have to be more humble. So all those qualities he was stressing upon. He also said that don't think that when you're up there, now that you can go up on the altar and you're worshipping the deities, don't think that you're above all the others who are physically also, you're up there, right? Physically, they are down. So don't think that you've now achieved some high, position. It's not like that. Always think of yourself as the servant of the servant. And now that you are worshipping the Lord and so many people are present, you are the servant of all of them because you're worshipping the Lord on their behalf. So now you're the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant so many times. Right? So, but he also spoke about, this was in a lecture that I heard, that he said you could be upon the altar again, worshipping the deities, but your mind can be in a, what do you call a bar? another word for a bar Maharaj used. I'm not remembering. He was mentioning, he was talking about how you physically there worshiping the deities. There also Lord is present there personally, and you're worshiping, right? And everybody is looking at the deities, and you also worshiping them, and you it seems like you're so focused, but your mind could be permit room. Your mind could be in a permit room, drinking whichever the best drink that you can think of, because this was something that you used to do earlier in life. Now you're a devotee, you don't do, but your mind could be there thinking about how you used to go and enjoy over there. So you're not actually on the altar worshipping the deities, you're actually in that permit room. So wherever our subtle body is, or wherever our mind is, that's where we are actually, because our consciousness is there. If our subtle body is with Krishna, then we will also be with Krishna. And how we can get our subtle body to be with Krishna? This is what Krishna speaks about in this verse. By offering our mind and intelligence to Krishna, we will always be with Krishna, because of this fact that wherever the subtle body is, we are there. So we can be in association of Krishna always by keeping our mind and intelligence fixed on Krishna. Let's have somebody read this. You can unmute.
Srila Prabhupada left Vrindavan. He actually did not leave Vrindavan. He carried Vrindavan with him. We may take a pure devotee out of Vrindavan, but we cannot take Vrindavan out of a pure devotee. He always internally lives in Vrindavan, and thus he always lived at Krishna's lotus feet wherever he was. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Till now in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talked about how bhakti is better than Devata worship, better than Ashtanga Yoga, better than Karma Yoga, better than Jnana Yoga, better than Vishwarup Upasana. Bhakti is the best. But for me, am I qualified to practice bhakti? It is so exalted. Satata Yuktanam, Krishna says, right? I have to be always thinking of Krishna and engaged in serving Krishna. I am not at that level. Let's be honest. Are we thinking of Krishna every moment? A little bit disturbance, like a few days back. I also experienced a little bit disturbance. Some relatives said this to that other relatives, and the mind is now bothered. I'm not also involved, but because the relatives are attached to me, I'm attached to them. A little bit disturbance here and there. Oh, chanting theek se nahi ho pa rahi, right? Why is my mind going here and there? So am I at that level where I can always just think of Krishna? Krishna is offering a descending ladder that extends down from the highest level. How bhakti can be practiced at multiple levels. At whatever level we feel equipped and comfortable, from there we can rise upwards to the top. So a ladder of devotion, it is a ladder of love that Krishna is talking about. So all of this, 12.8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. In 12.8, Krishna just spoke about we will live in relationship with him always by keeping our mind fixed on Krishna. Next, he will say, follow the regulative principles of sadhana bhakti. If you cannot always think of me. If you will follow the regulative principles of sadhana bhakti, then you will develop the desire to always think of Krishna. If you cannot also do that, then at least work for me, he'll say. Will come to the stage of devotional service by working for me. If you cannot also work for me, then cultivation of knowledge, meditation, renunciation of fruits, which will lead to purification, peace, and gradual elevation. So let's look at those verses. 12.9. Atha chittam samadhatum nas shaknoshi mai stiram abhyasa yogena tato mamichaptum dhananjaya.
My dear Arjuna, O winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, develop a desire to attain me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, atha chittam samadhatum na shaknoshi mai stiram. If, however, your mind cannot be steadily fixed on me, atha chittam samadhatum na shaknoshi. If you cannot fix your mind upon me all the time, then abhyasa yogena tato, then practice doing so. Like in mantra meditation, I was just talking about this. We try to fix the mind on Krishna, and I got this phrase from Chaitanya Charan Prabhu's class where he says, the mind may stray away, but let it not stay away. We have to bring it back. Just bring it back wherever it's straying away to. Let it not stay there. Bring it back. So we practice, and my Guru Maharaj always says in Bhakti Yoga, Krishna is not looking at your perfection. Are you thinking of him all the time? That is not what he's looking at. Bhakti Yoga is, the definition is, are trying to do so, are trying to bring the mind back, are trying to always be engaged in his service, that trying is what Bhakti Yoga is, and that is what Krishna is. Because Krishna is within our heart, he knows where we're coming from, what stage we are in. In that position, how much are we endeavoring? That is what Bhakti is, and that is the highest stage where we can be at this time. From wherever we are, we're trying our best. Let's keep going. Dhananjaya, O Arjuna, you are the acquirer of wealth, but now acquire the supreme wealth. And what is that? Mam ichaptum, obtain the desire to attain me. That is the highest attainment for anybody. Once our desire becomes strong, then naturally we will think of Krishna constantly. And that's how from this level of desire, we move to the next level where we constantly think of Krishna. So Krishna says, if you cannot right now think of me all the time, then practice doing so by sadhana. And by so doing, you will attain the desire to think of me all the time. One should always remember Radha and Krishna and should never forget them. All injunctions and prohibitions are based upon these two principles. This is coming from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Let's have somebody read this. Is from the purport.
In this verse, two different processes of Bhakti Yoga are indicated. The first applies to one who has actually developed an attachment for Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by transcendental love, and the other is for one who has not developed an attachment for the Supreme Person by transcendental love. For the second class, there are different prescribed rules and regulations one can follow to be ultimately elevated to the stage of attachment to Krishna. Bhagavad Gita 12.9 purport. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. And now 12.10, Bhakti with external senses. So before this, Krishna was talking about how always fixed your mind on thinking of me. Now he's come to external senses. Abhyasa. Abhyasepi asmartosi matkarma paramo bhava madartham api karmani kurvan siddhim avapsyasi. Let's have somebody read the translation.
If you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me. Because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I see your hand. Mataji, are you raising your hand? Or Balakrishna Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji. I heard somewhere we should be in this second stage, minimum for devotees, though not this first stage, practicing. Prabhupada has told.
We should be always practicing. Yeah.
Practicing Abhyasa Yoga. Practice, regulated.
Yeah,
Bhakti.
that's what Prabhupada has given us so mercifully, practice of Bhakti Yoga. If you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me, because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. So let's look at the verse. Krishna accommodates even those who do not accommodate him. So we might not be thinking of him or accommodating him, but Krishna is accommodating us. That even by working for me, you will come to the level of attaining me. So abhyasepi asammartosi. Even if you're unable to practice sadhana bhakti, mat karma paramo bhava madartham api karmani kurvam siddhim apapsasi. Then just try to perform your activities for my pleasure. Karma paramo bhava. Do it for my pleasure. Mat karma paramo. So thinking of giving me that pleasure. Mat artham. Dedicated to me. For me. Mad artham. Api karmani. Do it certainly for my dedicating your work to me for my pleasure. Though your mind is not on me, the result will be you will attain perfection. Gradually, you will attain perfection. So here we see a picture where people are working or on building a temple. So their minds may not be on Krishna directly, but because they're working for Krishna's pleasure, for building this temple is for Krishna's pleasure, ultimately in this life or future lifetimes, they will come to the stage of perfection where they're always thinking of Krishna. So mat para, our heart, soul, and our mind and intelligence, our whole being is offered to Krishna, which is higher level than mat karma paramo, where we are doing various works, but we understand that work that I'm doing is for, do for Krishna is the most important, and I try to make all my work into an offering to him. So mat para is always thinking of Krishna. If you cannot do that, then mat karma paramo. Do your work for my satisfaction and my pleasure. So work for me, where there are two sub-levels, render direct service, which can come, these things can come under rendering direct service to Krishna, deity worship, cooking bhoga, book distribution, making garlands, cleaning the temple, and you can think of many more where we are directly serving Krishna. And then indirectly offering part of our salary or profit in charity to build Krishna's temples or publish books, offering devotees facilities in their devotional service to Krishna. So that is rendering indirect service, and there can be many more. Also, ladies crossing the road, she's very elderly, and we're helping her, but she's crossing the road to go to the temple. So indirectly, we've helped her in her devotional service. So all this is sukriti, one collects, right? Devotional assets. That is mat karma paramo, working for Krishna. So even if one is not directly doing bhakti yoga, by doing indirect service to Krishna, one will come to the level of bhakti yoga again in this lifetime or in a future lifetime. This human form of life is meant for developing love for God. And this is the ladder of love, levels of bhakti, highest to the lowest. Mai eva mana adhatsva and Mai buddhim nivesha, which is the highest bhakti on the pure stage of love, offering one's mind and intelligence to Krishna entirely and thereby live in him. And if we cannot do that, then Abhyasa Yoga, Sadhana Bhakti, or practice regulated principles of Bhakti Yoga to develop a desire to attain him. This was 9th verse. And 10th verse, Mat Karma Paramo Bhava. If you cannot also do Sadhana Bhakti, then at least work for Krishna by contributing to his service. Now, those who can do bhakti by both internal and external senses are most outstanding. They are the best. But one may not be able to do that due to impediments, what can be the impediments? Social, familial, religious, financial, etc. Krishna will now advise such people to sacrifice the results of their activities, if not fully, at least some percentage of the results to Krishna. This is 12.11. Athaitat apyashaktosi kartum madhyogam ashritaha sarvakarma phalatyagam tata kuru yatatmavan.
If, however, you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, then try to act giving up all results of your work and try to be self situated. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. So let's look at the verse. Ataitat apyashaktosi. So ataitat means, which was again described in the previous verse, when one is not able to do even that, ataitat, even if you're not able to do that, what is that? That you are doing work for me indirectly, right? Even if you're not able to do that, then kartum mat yogam ashrita, the level of connection with Krishna by working for him. If one is not able to do that, then what should one do? Sarva karma phalatyagam. Then give up, at least give up the fruits of your work. Tata kuru yatatmavan. Be self-situated. If you cannot give the fruit of your work to me, but at least become selfless. Do it for some other cause other than you yourself. By that we attain to the degree we are selfless, to that degree we attain that feeling that something is beyond me. We are not totally self-conscious and self-motivated in doing things. So one is to possess. One is a possessor. Here you see a person working on the computer. So he's the possessor of the computer. And what is the possession? Is the computer itself. So what is one? One means to possess. And Atmavan, Krishna is saying, become Atmavan, become the possessor of the soul, meaning become aware that you are the soul. You're not just the body. So don't just be after the bodily comforts and assets and this and that. Don't earn money. Don't be after that. Become Atmavan. Become the possessor of the soul. Become aware that you're the soul. To become aware of ourselves as the Atma and to become aware of the precious and irrepressible wealth that is available to us at the level of the Atma. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me, and we are part of that Lord. So material infatuations keep us oblivious of spiritual reality. Here we see picture of this reminds me just now, seeing this picture reminds me of a relative who, so my relative, close relative, told me that her relative, her bhabhi, actually, she used to come in front of the mirror and say, "Oh, how beautiful you are. I admire you so much." So this is our infatuation in this material world. Our beauty, our assets, our maybe Brahman culture, descending from this, pious Brahman family. All these are material designations which we are so infatuated with. So these are material infatuations, and they keep us oblivious of our spiritual reality. We have forgotten our connection with Krishna. It's like Alzheimer's, right? I don't know where I got this picture from. There's some memory loss, change in mood. All of these are symptoms of Alzheimer's. So we basically, if we've forgotten our connection with Krishna, is like Alzheimer's. There's a memory loss. So one is self-consciousness. Am I beautiful? Am I wealthy? Am I ugly? Am I whatever, all these designations. And one is self-realization, where these designations don't matter at all. What matters is I am a part of Krishna. And that's real knowledge. The only way we can find ourselves is by losing ourselves to something greater than ourselves. If one cannot even work for Krishna, so if we're working and we cannot even directly serve Krishna by giving a part of our salary or a part of whatever, if we cannot even do that, then slowly by working in a general spirit of sacrifice, not for Krishna, but karma phala tyagam, when one will cultivate and the value of sacrifice, then the ethos of selflessness will develop. And when that matures, one will become self-aware, which will ultimately bring them to Krishna consciousness. So see how this is the lowest, where at least do something which is not always about you. Do something for others. Become selfless. And while doing that, gradually you'll come to a stage where you will realize that yes, there's something beyond me. What is that? That's Atma. And now about that Atma, you will want to know there is somebody who that Atma is a part of. So Krishna is giving that degradation, or he's bringing from that lowest level up to the highest level. From wherever we are, we can engage ourselves. We absorb ourselves in loving and serving Krishna. We elevate our consciousness. So this is the direct path. We elevate our consciousness on someone who is greater than us and doing things which are not for our own senses and body. When we can pour our heart and even our material skills in devotional activities, then all that helps to bring out our latent spiritual potential. Gradually, our self-consciousness in terms of self-obsession decreases and one becomes more and more spiritually aware. So this is where we are not directly doing for Krishna, but at least we're working, or we're maybe charity to in South Africa, where people are, not very well off and they don't even have basic facilities. So helping them like that, do something, be more selfless. But here is what we read is being selfless, but then knowing that we are part of Krishna and directly serving Krishna. So here, because we're directly in Bhakti Yoga, that awareness comes quickly and we progress very quickly on the path of Bhakti. We become more and more spiritually aware. Sorry, Prabhu?
These pictures are very nice. This
Little child.
Stage 1, 2, 3, 4, na?
Here?
No. This one, the first stage is he is doing some work. Second stage,
Yeah.
he is working for Krishna. Third is he is practicing. The fourth one is Mayeva Manatva.
Engaging the mind, always. Yes.
All 4 slokas are covered. Very nice.
12.12. Let's look at the last verse and we'll do a short activity also after this. 12.12, Krishna is bringing all that together. It's a little difficult for us to understand, but I have a slide where we can understand it in a little easier way. So let's recite the verse first. Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasaj jnanad dhyanam vishishyate dhyanat karma phala tyagat chantir anantaram. Somebody please read.
If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. For by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind. Bhagavad Gita 12.12. Hare Krishna.
So Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasaj. Shreya, which means better than jnana, is to practice. So let's look at what this verse really means. So knowledge, jnana, is better than abhyasa. So jnana, Nishkama Karma Yoga, we are doing, if you don't bring yoga in here, if you just bring Nishkama Karma, we're doing work selflessly, which is abhyasa. But better than that is jnana. When we do activities with knowledge that yes, I am a part of Krishna, Krishna is the supreme and I'm a servant of Krishna. With that knowledge, when we work, then that jnana is better than just practicing without that knowledge, right? This is easy to understand. Then meditation or dhyana is higher than jnana. Just with jnana, if we are a part of Krishna, then what are we doing about it? Are we thinking of Krishna? That is dhyana. So dhyana is better than jnana. Karma phala tyaga is referred to karma that is offered to Krishna, which is bhakti, right? So karma phal chhod ke, tyag karke, and who are we doing it for? Krishna, which is bhakti. Then definitely bhakti is higher than dhyana. So that is what the verse is. Dhyana, dhyanam, jnana dhyanam vishishyate, where dhyana is better than jnana. Then he says, dhyanat karma phala tyagas. Karma phala tyaga is referred to karma, which is bhakti. Then therefore, that is better than dhyana. So just dhyana or meditation, better than that is doing everything, practicing everything in or offering everything in Krishna service moment by moment. So that's why bhakti is higher than just dhyana. So again, let's look at the levels, highest to lowest. First, Krishna talks about how Mai eva mana adhatsva, Mai buddhim niveshaya, bhakti on the pure stage of love, offering one's mind and intelligence to Krishna entirely and thereby live in him. If you cannot do that, at least practice sadhana bhakti or practice regulated principles of bhakti yoga to develop a desire to attain Krishna. If we cannot even do that, then working for Krishna by contributing to his service. An example we took was how a person is, in his mind, is not always thinking of Krishna or not thinking of Krishna at all, but he's working to build a temple for Krishna. So that's working for Krishna and contributing his service. And the next example, giving up results of work for some good cause, not directly for Krishna, but some good cause. Sarva karma phala tyagam, and then shreyo hi jnanam abhyasaj. For those who cannot follow the principles of Krishna consciousness, it is better to cultivate knowledge, which is jnana. Dhyana is better than jnana because knowledge gradually develops into meditation. If one cannot do meditation, then one can renounce the results of his prescribed work for some good purpose or good cause. By renunciation, one attains peace. Tyaga chantir anantaram. So 3 aspects to any activity that we do: mentality, activity, and quality. Mentality is what Krishna spoke about from 1 to 7 or 2 to 7. Worship of the personal form is greater than worship of impersonal form. That is the mentality. What is the activity? Progressive levels of bhakti. In the next class, we'll talk about, Krishna talks about the quality that endears one to Krishna, or quality of bhakti. And here is our activity. We'll quickly, I'll make groups and we can either do 1 or 2, or you can do both the questions. So first is on mood and mission, where we consider Srila Prabhupada's example of dependency on Krishna, how he always depended on Krishna. How did he exemplify this? So identify concrete examples from the life of Prabhupada where he was totally dependent on Krishna. Then the second is personal application. So Prabhupada's emphasis was on surrender to the instructions of Parampara and on confidence in Krishna looking after our welfare. So we identify examples of how we may sometimes fail to follow this. Sometimes we fail to have that total confidence in Krishna that he will look after our welfare, right? Krishna says, I am the swift deliverer, right? But we forget that. And then we are in these situations and we get bewildered. That bewilderment happens because of our forgetfulness that Krishna will take care of us. So identify examples in our own lifetimes. If this has happened, sometimes we fail to follow this. That fail to follow what? Have total confidence in Krishna. So you can maybe take a screenshot, or I can leave this open while I make the breakout rooms.